Hello, ma'ams and sirs. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I'm pretty sure a lot of you, like me, gained an extra 50 pounds or so thanks to some good cooking. Just hope everybody, stay safe and avoid those revenue officers. And of course, enjoy the family time and hopefully your favorite football teams won this weekend. Uh, going to be doing some more reminiscing today. Back in 1987, Vince McMahon thought, "Hey, I need a new Thanksgiving tradition. Especially right now, they're in the pay-per-view game. So he wanted something to compete with uh, Starcade, and so he came up with this pay-per-view called Survivor Series. Team Survive strives to survive. The first one took place at Richfield Coliseum in Richfield Township, Ohio. Drew according to this was 21,300. So let's talk about the very first Survivor Series. Again, if you like what you hear and like what you see, leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you'll be notified when my videos pop up. And now, on to Survivor Series. Leading off here in this event, where they have teams of 5 in elimination style matches. This one is with a newly turned babyface and reigning Macho Man Savage. His team consisted of Jake Roberts, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and the Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And they went up against Intercontinental Champion at the time, Honky Tonk Man, Hercules Hernandez, Dangerous Danny Davis, not to be confused with Nightmare Danny Davis, Cowboy or Outlaw Ron Bass, and King Harley Race. And we get the first 2 eliminations was Harley Race and Jim Duggan getting in the fisticuffs there and got themselves counted out. Next up, Ron Bass succumbed to the high knee of Brutus Beefcake. Brutus Beefcake felt the shake rattle roll of the Honky Tonk Man. Danny Davis fell to the DDT of Jake the Snake Roberts. And at this time, the DDT nobody got up from. I know everybody uses it in different ways now, and twisting, turning, flipping, tornado DDTs, slingshot DDTs. But everybody gets up now. But at this time, nobody got up from, and it was a thing of beauty too. I mean, Jake State Roberts was the originator of the move, and it was a thing of beauty. Then we had a little teamwork here. Hercules Hernandez. That all ended up with a Randy Savage elbow drop from the top rope. Honky Tonk Man bumped around a little bit and he said, "Screw this, I'm headed to the back." It was a pretty good kickoff here. I mean, man, people were loving on Randy Savage at this time. Like I say, just turned babyface. At the time, people were starting to cheer him. I remember being in school, and when we talk about it, everybody's favorite at the time was it was starting to become Randy Savage, as far as the WWF is concerned. But just the way he acted, the top rope elbow drop. At the time, not too many people came from the top rope to the floor with like a double axe handle, and he was doing that. But yeah, everybody was really digging on Macho Man Randy Savage at the time, and he was about to get that rocket boost up to the top and be one of the top guys in the WWF. Honky Tonk Man was an Intercontinental Champion at the time. He had just beat, well, I wouldn't say just beat Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat is the one who dethroned Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3. And I just remember watching that match as a kid uh, with Honky Tonk Man and Ricky Steamboat on TV, and it was like he was tangled up in ropes and everything. It's like, is this going to stand? Is this guy named the Honky Tonk Man really beat Ricky the Dragon Steamboat? But again, there was no internet at the time. I didn't know what a dirt sheet was. I mean, I knew it was it's a word, but still, it's like, yeah, Honky Tonk Man. Um, but now, if you ever listen to Honky Tonk Man shoot interviews, man, he's probably one of the he's one of the most funniest ones to listen to. Next up, we had the ladies here, and at the time here, mm, I mean, not to disrespect these, I mean, there's a couple of these ladies who were good. Rock and Robin was actually decent. Um, Moolah was way past her prime. Uh, Sensational Sherry Martel, she was pretty good at the time. Like I said, they some of these girls were decent at the time, but it's not as good as the ones they have now, especially the WWE's roster of women. They're just on another level and been on that level for a while now. But anyway, we had the team Fabulous Moolah here with Rock and Robin, Velvet McIntyre, and the Jumping Bomb Angels from Japan. And they went up against Sensational Sherry Martel, who was the women's champion at the time, who dethroned the Fabulous Moolah. WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Glamour Girls, Alani Kai and Judy Martin, Donna Cristianello, and Dawn Marie, and no, not the Dawn Marie who was from ECW and later on got into the WWE. They got a pretty good time here. They gave him 20 minutes and all. Uh, Donna Cristianello was the first one out. She got put out by Velvet McIntyre. Then Donna Marie by Rock and Robin. Sherry Martel came in, and she wound up eliminated Rock and Robin. Then Fabulous Moolah came in, but she got eliminated by Judy Martin. People weren't feeling the babyface Moolah at this time. But it seemed like as soon as they got put out, and then Velvet McIntyre wound up pinning Sensational Sherry with a victory roll, they were really starting to dig on Velvet McIntyre here. She wound up getting eliminated by Lalani Kai. Then the Glamour Girls both got eliminated by the Jumping Bomb Angels, and the fans seemed at the show at the arena seemed to be really digging on Velvet McIntyre and the Jumping Bomb Angels. I mean, it wasn't bad, but like I said, crowd wasn't really feeling the Moolah deal, but they definitely seemed to like Velvet McIntyre and the Jumping Bomb Angels. And it wasn't that good of a match, but like I said, once became once Moolah and Cher was out, the fans kind of became a little more responsive, and like I said, Velvet McIntyre and the Jumping Bomb Angels did pretty good for themselves. So can't fault them with that. And like I said, we're talking what over 20 way. I mean, I can't do math in my head. 87, 97, 2007, 17, over 40 years ago. Wow, I'm old. Um, or almost 40 years ago, something like that. Like I said, I can't do math too well. But yeah, so definitely a generational thing. This was a little dated, but uh, like I said, the victors, the sole survivors were the Jumping Bomb Angels in this one, and the crowd liked them. I'm just babbling now. Okay, let's go to the next one. And if you're watching this on a Peacock or however you watch older WWF stuff, Look at the humanity in that ring right now. Just sitting outside the apron, you had on each side 10 different tag teams, and I'm talking tag teams. Who were you know it wasn't just two guys thrown together. We'll be teamed for a little bit, maybe win the tag titles and split up. These were tag teams like glued together. Um, but you had let's see, on one side you had the Bolsheviks teaming with the Hart Foundation, who were the team captains. The Islanders, Haku and Tama, and Demolition, Mass Superstar, and uh, crap, Crusher Khrushchev. Just kidding, Axis Smash. But that's what a lot of people, Axe, of course, was Bill Eddy, the Mass Superstar, and Smash was Barry Darso, Crusher Khrushchev. Um, but anyway, they went up against the tag team champions of Strike Force, Tito Santana and Rick Martel. Uh, in the beginning, it was like Rick Martel was teamed with Tom Zink as the Can-Am connection. I think they was getting a pretty good response from the crowd and was getting a pretty good push. And for whatever reason, Tom Zink just bailed and they just stuck Tito Santana there, but kept going along with the push, at least for Rick Martel's sake. Um, they partnered up with the young stallions of Paul Roma and Jimmy Powers, the fabulous Rougeos of Jacques and Raymond Rougeau, Killer Bees, Jim Brunzell, B. Brian Blair. B. Brian Blair, I think he's the Iron Sheik's favorite wrestler, and the legendary British Bulldogs, David Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid. Uh, man, they had like 37 minutes in this match, and they did this. They didn't have like a 10-man elimination. I think they definitely thought the wiser and said, look, if one member of the team does get pinned, that means the whole team is done. Case in point, when Boris Zukov of the Bolsheviks got pinned by Tito Santana, Boris Zukov and what was his partner's name? Uh-oh. Nikolai Volkov. I don't know how I had a brain fart there. Sorry about that. Anyway, Nikolai Volkov and Boris Zukov was eliminated. Then Fabulous Rougeos got put out by Demolition. Demolition got disqualified. Jim Neidhart got the pin on Tito Santana, which eliminated tag team champions. Haku, the baddest man on the planet, probably still is. Uh, he put out the British Bulldogs. Uh, oh, how did I forget to mention Greg Valentine and Dino Bravo as part of Hillside? Oh, did I even not even mention the Hillside? Sorry about that. But anyway, Greg Valentine at the time was teamed up with Dino Bravo, and even though when I was looking back on it, this watching the event and everything, I remember they called themselves the New Dream Team because the original Dream Team was Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake. Of course, WrestleMania 3 became Bruce Beefcake became babyface and became a barber too at the same time. See, multitasking. Something to fall back on. But anyway, they got eliminated by the Young Stallions. Bret Hart got pinned by Brunzell. And at the time, Brunzell and B. Brian Blair was part of their gimmick at the time. They was sometimes in the middle of the match will put masks on and maybe sneak one in. The whole, hey, we're being cheated this whole time. We need to fight fire here, and that's what they did. Jim Brunzell was really taking a beating from the Islanders, and then we had a little melee going on, and Jim Brunzell does a sunset flip, but Tama, the Tonga kid, was kept holding on, and they did this really smooth here too. Uh, B. Brian Blair flipped over the top rope, or slingshot himself over the top rope, hit the sunset flip, but it's at the same time Jim Brunzell like slid on out, and that's how they got the 1-2. Good, pretty finish. Uh, I think fans were getting got bored of this one. It did kind of feel like it was dragging. Even when I was rewatching, I was like, "Man, this match is still going on." But yeah, 37 minutes, and they promised the fans 3 hours, but like I said, there's a lot of good. Definitely, it'll be hard. You'd be hard pressed to get um, 5 tag teams on one side, 5 tag teams on another side. I mean, even now when they do Survivor Series, they don't do it in this fashion anymore, where all the matches were teams of 4, or in this case, teams of 5 strive to survive. And just like that, folks, we are at the main event. And of course, one side, team captain Andre the Giant with One Man Gang, King Kong Bundy, Butch Reed, and Rick Rude. Uh, Gosh, I didn't get the weight of everybody when I was watching this. I think Butch might have been a little shorter than Rick Rude, and he wasn't a small guy. He was pretty built, guys, but he's probably the smaller of this whole team. I mean, God, that's a match, especially with Andre Giant, One Man Gang, and King Kong Bundy. Uh, that's definitely a heavy tag team there. And of course, they went up against the WWF World Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Don Morocco, who was substituting for Superstar Billy Graham. I think he was originally slated there. Um, I think legitimately his health problems were. I think he just had hip surgery or something like that. Then he tried to come back, and this wasn't working out. He was kind of managing Don Morocco as well, and I think this is, as far as I remember, this is probably the best shape Don Morocco was ever in. As far as me watching, I mean, I know he was at this time he was wrestling for a long time, and but when I started wrestling, mm, I mean, he was big, but little wasn't as ripped as he was right here. How's that sound? And then they're also on the team was Ken Patera, who his angle at the time, he just got out of prison, and of course he didn't want to go back to the Heenan family. He wanted to do things his way because Heenan wasn't there for him. And of course, I guess you can call him the blue chipper at the time, the rookie Bam Bam Bigelow. They were looking to push him at this time. Um, Quick eliminations here. The Butch Reed got put out by Hulk Hogan, Ken Patera by One Man Gang, Paul Orndorff by Rick Rude by Don Morocco, Don Morocco by One Man Gang. Then they had a little melee outside the ring, and Hulk Hogan slammed One Man Gang outside the ring. Then wound up fighting with King Kong Bundy and body slammed him, but it was too late. He wound up being counted out. I don't understand. I guess they didn't want Hogan to absolutely go over on this one. Having faced a little bit of adversity, I guess. But then after Hogan got put out, that left Bam Bam Bigelow up by himself, and he wound up eliminating King Kong Bundy with a slingshot splash. One Man Gang wound up missing the 747 splash, and Bam Bam Bigelow took advantage of it. And it was kind of cool because I do remember watching. There was a little show called Pro Wrestling This Week. on Channel 36 in Atlanta, and it was hosted by Joe Pensino and Gordon Soley. And they, Joe Pensino was, talking about it's like, yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow, this part his heart out, but unfortunately, succumbed to Andre the Giant, which happened here. I guess they were. This looks like a classic. Heels go over on the feet. Bam Bam or the Bayface goes over on his back, but I don't think Bam. I think he might last the rest of the year, maybe a little bit the next year. Excuse me. Um, and like I said, when I was reading it, I think there's some resentment towards him being kind of young in the business and getting a push, um, but then after he left, him and Oliver Humperdinck went to the NWA. Then I think he did some Japan and came back to NWA. Blah blah blah. Had a pretty good, decent little career. Uh, but man, he was a guy who was a little less than 400 pounds. Um, not by far, but it was weird. I mean, it was cool. I get cool. I don't want to say weird. More like cool. He had this big, heavy guy, not a body guy, but heavy guy, bald head, tattoos all on his head, all over his arms, and this dude was doing cartwheels and drop kicks. And I ain't talking about this this one of those what they call it shotgun drop kicks or this uh what do they call them, front drop kicks on the video game. I mean, this guy was standing drop kick, uh, up, fold his legs, and got up as high as he could, towards him. But it for a big guy like that, it looked good. Um, but yeah, Andre Giant wound up being the sole survivor in this match. But if you listen to Bruce Pitcher's podcast, there was a rule back then, and the rule was Hogan must pose. So Hogan came in and grabbed a championship belt. I think hit Andre with it, got him outside the ring, and the Heenan family retreated. Um, and of course, I Am a Real American played it on PA, and Hogan posed. And that's how they ended the show. Um, like I said, they were looking to get. I mean, this is sort of the beginning of the pay-per-view game here with Crocker Promotions uh, doing pay-per-views, and of course WWE doing or F doing pay-per-views. And it was getting the competition was getting heavy between the two. And of course, this was before the Monday Night Wars, which it was WCW, but the WCW lineage goes back to Jim Crockett Promotions and NWA at this time. Um, and at the time, Vince said, "Okay, I'm just they got their Starrcade, their uh, biggest event of the year, um, their WrestleMania, if you want to call it." Uh, it was going to go head to head with that, but Vince McMahon, for as far as I've heard it a lot of times, a lot of interviews. Vince McMahon went to cable provider and said, "Hey, if you air that Starrcade and not my Survivor Series, or have my Survivor Series even go head to head with uh, the National Wrestling Alliance's Starrcade, then I'm not going to give you WrestleMania." And unfortunately, most of the cable providers gave in to Vince McMahon, and they aired the Survivor Series instead of Starrcade, which I mean it was a heavy blow to National Wrestling Alliance. I mean they didn't really do themselves any favors at the time either, but that's another story, another time. I think one of the problems was from while I was kind of hearing interviews, it was like they went to Chicago instead of just keeping it at either Atlanta or um, Charlotte or Greensboro. Um, Because I think the first one was in Greensboro, the Starcade '86. They did the two CDs, Atlanta and Greensboro, but '87 they decided to go to Chicago. Um, but they was trying to compete, and they and go to Chicago. Um, I think this is one of I think Vince or WWF has gone through there. I know this is kind of AWA's little territory too, I believe. But like I said, it was a heavy blow, and Vince did get his way. I don't think they get their way ever again. But like I said, this is it was in competition, and things were getting a little cutthroat here. Like I said, this is a before the Monday Night Wars and everything else. Um, battle lines were drawn. It's time to go. It's time to survive. Anyway, well, that does it for this reminiscing episode. I gotta get a better name. I probably will later. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. And you guys take it easy and take care.
We here at RP Tube Vision would like to thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Also check out friends of the show Ecolife Natural for home-crafted candles, hand cloth, and other home and personal goods. Look them up on Facebook. Link will be available below the video. That is Ecolife Natural.